when it comes to match game.
Look at this cavalcade of stars we have here today.
And all fresh episodes.
Rotate the puppy for us.
Ross is boss.
Your head looks a lot bigger in person. You know that?
I never should have played spin the bottle with tough Tanya. When the bottle pointed toward me, she didn't kiss me, she blanked me.
She bit me. The Match Game Marathon, hosted by Ross Schaefer.
This is a game. It's fun.
Starts January 13th on Buzzer. Let's play.
One of these three women really knows how to dress for the theater. Number one, what is your name, please?
My name is Anne Marie Kudo.
Number two.
My name is Anne Marie Kudo.
Number three.
My name is Anne Marie Kudo.
Only one of these people is the real Anne Marie Kudo, and is the only one sworn to tell the truth. Now let's meet our panel. Actor and raconteur, Orson Bean. Tony Award-winning actress, Peggy Cass. Star of the upcoming film, Lena's Holiday, Chris Lemon. And to tell the truth's very own, Kitty Carlisle. Here's the host of To Tell the Truth, Lynn Swann.
Boy, that wall was close that time. Hello, everyone. How are you today? Yeah, don't you just, Pamela, don't you love these hats that we're all wearing? Don't you feel special?
You look magnificent.
Listen, I know you're wondering why we have these interesting hats on, and you'll find out as we read the first affidavit. So let's get right to the story presented by our first team of challengers, all three of whom claim to be Anne Marie Kudo. And this is her story, so please read along with me. I, Anne Marie Kudo, am a costume designer. I'm considered a leading expert on period and vintage clothing. For the past 8 years, I've costumed 278 different regional and national productions, shows such as Annie, A Chorus Line, and Romeo and Juliet. I raid the Salvation Army, Goodwill stores, and Grandma's attic. Some of my clothes are originals, others are recycled. For instance, number one is wearing a Marie Antoinette costume reclaimed from old brocade drapes. Number two's dress for Camelot is fashioned of a fabulous old bedspread. And number three is wearing Mask of the Red Death from Phantom of the Opera, made from an old sequin dress. Along the way, I've received numerous awards, but I'm especially proud of doing the costumes for a show that won the award named for Kitty Carlisle's playwright husband, the Moss Hart Award. And now for the panel's hats. Kitty is wearing Gloria Swanson's original headdress. Chris has on a cap from Fiddler on the Roof. Peggy's chapeau is from Hello, Dolly. Orson's topper was worn by a relative of Scrooge.
Humbug.
And Lynn's topper is a hat from A Chorus Line. Signed, Anne Marie Kudo. We'll find out more about this award-winning costume designer right after this. And top of the day to you all. Here we are, panel. All three of these people claim to be Anne Marie Kudo. And let's start the questioning with you, Kitty.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to meet you, whoever you are. What was the award, where was the award given for the Moss Hart Award? Number one, sorry.
It was given for Annie
Annie where?
at the New Bedford High School.
Oh, thank you. And number two, where did Gloria Swanson wear this rather strange headdress?
It was a piece of her own personal property.
And number three, you don't know where she wore it, to an opening or whatever?
No, that headpiece was given to me by a very dear friend.
I see. Number two, when you go out and scavenge for all these costumes that you make, do you have to buy any of this material, or do you always get it from the Salvation Army?
Sometimes you have to buy, some, but you hope to find bedspreads like this for $5.
And number one, that crown that number two is wearing is perfectly lovely. What are you supposed to be, number one?
I am Marie Antoinette.
You're Mary, and you're Queen Guinevere, number two?
Time is up. Chris.
Number one, hot in there?
Yes.
Yeah, I would think so. Number 3, where do you get these ideas from? Do you delve into history and pick out, or do they come
I
just
have vintage periodicals that I look through and fashion encyclopedias, and I've sewn for quite a few years.
And number 2, have you ever found yourself halfway into a project, sort of like the one you're wearing, and realize it's really not going to turn out at all well?
You change it a couple of times, but you hope it turns out.
So number 1, it's really sort of a constant process of discovery when you're doing these.
Absolutely. I'm a very hands-on designer.
Uh-huh.
And if she's in a nice hotel, she gets her hands on the bedspread, you know where it's gone.
There you go.
Someone's going to work there. Peggy.
Number 3, are you a member of the union?
Well, I work through Equity, and we have certain rules to go by, but I own an antique shop, and I am the costume designer for different productions.
Thank you. And number 3, where are you based?
I am based in Acushnet, Massachusetts.
Number 2, are you based in Massachusetts, too?
Yes, I am, New Bedford.
Oh. Number 3, Theone Aldridge's.
Theone Aldridge, fabulous Broadway designer.
Number 2, do you ever do dinner theaters?
Yes.
In New Bedford?
There are no dinner theaters in New Bedford that I know of.
Oh.
Thank you.
I don't know of any either.
No, Mask of the Red Death, number 3. Now, have you seen The Phantom of the Opera?
Yes, I have.
That's a wild scene when that thing appears. Number 1, do you have a collection of costumes so that if someone comes to you and says, we want to do Annie, that you would have them all, or do you start from scratch each time?
Oh, I have a very extensive collection of vintage clothing and antique clothing. And so my answer is yes and no, because sometimes I have to add to that.
Number 2, is it more fun to do something like this, or is it more fun to do a modern thing? Which is the...
I specialize in period clothing.
Oh, you specialize in period. Number 3, what's the most lavish, elaborate...
That bell means your time is up, Orson. And panel, your collective time is up, and time to vote for number 1, number 2, or number 3. Our team of challengers will receive $500 for each incorrect vote with a guarantee of $1,000. And if the panel is completely stumped, the team will receive $3,000. But I'm keeping the hat, that's for sure. Okay, Kitty, we'll start with you.
I don't blame you. I wanted to vote for number 1. She said New Bedford, and I know that the Morse Hart Award takes place in New England. It's the New England Theater Award. But number 2, I think number 1 and 2 are sisters. But anyway, I thought that number 2 really had more information, so I voted for number 2.
Okay.
For the very same reason I voted for number 1. She seemed to answer all the questions correctly.
Peggy.
I thought number 1 sounded as though she came from down home, and also the other 2 costumes are so much flashier, and I think number 1 was nice and kept the more subdued costume for herself.
I see. The subdued theory. Orson.
I think it's number 2. I think she appears to be nimble of finger.
That's very good. You can notice that from that far away. Yes. Okay, panel, the votes are all in, and number 1 has 2 votes. Number 2 has 2 votes. Number 3, great costume, but you didn't get a vote here. Okay? So now it's time to find out who the real costume designer is. Will the real Anne-Marie Couteau please stand up? Number 2. Very good, very good. And I have to ask you have an extensive collection of how many pieces?
I have 500,000 pieces in my collection of both costumes and vintage clothing.
That is terrific. Let's meet your imposters. Number 1, your name and what do you do?
My name is Sheila Collazo, and I'm a freelance editor.
And it's still hot under there.
Yes, it is.
Number 3?
My name is Jody Benassi, and I'm a pregnant housewife. And my husband is Ray Benassi, the associate director in this show. And he's looking at me right now from the control room. And I'm wondering why I didn't get a vote.
And you look absolutely gorgeous in that. Well, listen, there were 2 incorrect votes, so your team will receive $1,000. And thank you all for being here and playing on To Tell the Truth. We'll be back with the survivor of a real-life drama right after this.
Before and bath fitter. Before and bath fitter. If you have a before bath, now's the time to call Bath Fitter to get a beautiful after. With our unique tub-over-tub process, there's no mess or stress. Spend smart on a beautiful new bath done right, backed by a lifetime warranty. Join over 2 million happy customers who know it just fits. Bath Fitter. Visit bathfitter.com to book your free consultation.
Welcome back to Tell the Truth. Let's meet our next team of challengers.
Number 1, what is your name, please?
Hi, my name is Katie Kemble.
Number 2.
My name is Katie Kimball.
Number 3.
My name is Katie Kimball.
And panel, it is up to you to locate the real Katie Kimball, and this is an unbelievable story. Please read along with me. I, Katie Kimball, am a nurse and a rock climber. Last year, I was on a rock climb that nearly ended my career as a climber, but thanks to my nursing experience, it did not end my life. During the climb, my partner shouted a warning. An avalanche of huge boulders came crashing down. One ricocheted into my left leg. Upon looking down, I saw that my leg was nearly severed, attached by only an inch of skin. Somehow, I was able to manage my own care and give my partner the necessary medical instructions if I became unconscious. Incredibly, he was able to carry me down the steep cliff to a waiting truck. On the way to the hospital, the pain was excruciating, but I knew I couldn't pass out. No one in the remote area had my medical background. I had to tell the medical staff what to do. Later, the surgeons were able to miraculously restore the leg to my body. And now I'm on the way to recovery and the beginning of a happy new year. Signed, Katie Kimball. Unbelievable. I'll tell you, this is truly an unbelievable story. And Orson, we're going to begin with you.
I don't know if I want to know anything. Number 2, were you in shock?
No, I was not in shock.
Number 3, was the leg put in ice or anything to keep it okay until? No?
No.
Number 1, was there any value to that 1 inch of skin? Did that help save it, or was that irrelevant?
Yeah, the posterior tibial nerve was all that was attached, and that's what allowed them to save my leg.
Number 2, do you agree with what number 1 just said?
Yes.
No.
Thank you, Orson.
What a
Peggy.
Number 1, whereabouts on your leg was it severed?
All the way across, and all that was left is the back side of the left leg.
Number 2, was the patella engaged?
No, the patella was out of it.
Okay. Now, number 3, did they fly you out of there so that you could get the surgery?
Mm-hmm. I was airlifted.
Number 1, where did this happen?
On the Ophir Wall in Telluride, Colorado.
Time is up. Chris.
Number 1, when you say that it was only held on by an inch of skin, obviously it was a horrific wound and there must have been huge amounts of blood. Yet number 2, you said you didn't pass out. Number 1, how could that be?
The body that naturally retracted, the arteries retracted.
And number 2, how did you find the strength to be able to tell people what to do with your legs severed?
Well, I realized I was the only one that could.
So it was a Rambo kind of thing.
Yeah. All right, Kitty.
Well, I don't wonder. Number 3, how far was the trip to the hospital from the time that you were injured?
The total length was about 5.5 hours.
Number 1, what kind of training did you have as a nurse?
Well, I worked in a critical care unit. Actually, in the hospital, I ended up having the surgery done.
In the same hospital?
Yes.
And number 2, where did you train?
I trained at the University of Washington in Seattle.
And number 3, did you pray?
No, there was too much to do.
Too much to do. And number 2, did the doctors allow you to tell them exactly what to do? Sometimes they're a little bit difficult about that.
Not the doctors, but the medics did.
There were no doctors there.
Time is up, panel. And it's time for you to vote for either number 1, number 2, or number 3. Orson.
Well, I've dabbled in surgery myself, creating artificial life, minor stuff. But I think number 2 is a liar, but she is so good that I'm impelled to vote for her, even though I think she's a liar.
Okay, that's good enough. Peggy.
I'd do what number 2 told me to do. So I voted for her. They obeyed her. She's got
that look.
Yes.
Chris.
Yeah, I have to go along with my colleagues. Number 2.
Oh, my Lord. We're going to either be,
Kitty?
we're going to have a clean sweep or we're going to be wonderful. I feel that I would do exactly what number 2 told me to do.
It's 3. I know because she's blushing. She's happy.
Here's the vote recap. Everybody voted for number 2. No one voted for number 1 or for number 3. Well, there's nothing left to do at this moment but find out who the real cliffhanger is. Will the real Katie Kimball please stand up?
No,
it's number 3. Katie, we'll get right back to you, but let's first find out about your imposters. Number 1, what's your name and what do you do?
My name is Catherine Ritter-White, and I'm a cook at a homeless shelter and a psychotherapist.
Wonderful. That is terrific. Number 2, your name and what do you do?
My name is Luli Sabella, and I own my own business called Luli's Zoo, and I make dolls.
And she's a forceful leader. Well, you stumped everyone, so your team will receive $3,000. Congratulations to that. Katie, I must tell you, I mean, I dislocated a finger one time at football practice, saw the bone, I thought I was going to pass out, right? And I grabbed my hand. I've got to tell you, it's remarkable what you did. And the man that was with you that brought you down, that's tremendous. Rich Hatch?
Rick Hatch.
Rick Hatch. He must be a terrific guy. Have you seen him?
Oh, yes.
Okay, because he's standing right behind you. We brought him here to the show. I mean, Rick, I've got to ask you very quickly. When the avalanche came and you warned her, you had to climb back down to her? I mean, did you know that there was something wrong at that moment?
Yeah, when I looked down, I could tell there was something
She wasn't that far away from you.
severely, wrong. It was about I was about 15 or 20 feet up on the cliff, and I don't actually recall how I got to her.
Yeah, well, I tell you one thing. You both are heroes, and I'll tell you, Katie, any place you wanted to go in this world, if you call me, I'll go with you. You're terrific. Thank you all for being here and playing on To Tell the Truth. We'll be right back to play one-on-one with someone from our studio audience right after this.
Let's hope
Santa
puts a
toy
under everyone's
trees.
Tug of Words. All new weekdays at 3:30.
It's now time to play one-on-one with someone from our audience. So, Burton, who do you have for us today?
Lynn, I'd like you to meet Vicki Caldwell from Tyler, Texas.
Vicki, nice to meet you from Tyler, Texas. Here's your chance to play one-on-one. I want you to meet a man who has 2 stories. Please welcome Dean Grazier. Dean? Now, Vicki, Dean is going to tell you 2 stories. If you can select the one that's true, you'll win $500. So listen carefully. Dean, what's your first story?
I operated the only manual scoreboard in the Major League Baseball.
Okay, now that may or may not be the truth. So listen to Dean's second story.
32 years ago, I sent a Christmas card from the North Pole to my brother. He received it last week.
Okay. No one said the post office was fast, but they did say it would get there. Panel, to help Vicki win $500, one question about each story. Katie, will start with the scoreboard story.
What's the difference between a manual scoreboard and an automated scoreboard?
The manual is when you put the numbers in.
Oh, thank you.
And why would they keep a manual scoreboard? Is there any particular reason?
It's one of its kind.
Okay.
Peggy?
And now, my dear, where is that manual scoreboard?
Wrigley Field.
Okay. Orson?
Home of real grass and no night baseball, except now you have night baseball, right?
See.
So aren't you going to give up your manuals?
Oh, well, just one. All right, Vicki, that was story number 1. Now story number 2, the Christmas card, long awaited.
What were you doing in the North Pole?
I was in the Army in Antarctica, North Pole, in a weather station.
Oh.
Chris. 32 years to get there, huh? Was there any postage due?
The Army don't have to put a postage stamp. Yeah.
Peggy.
Did the post office department ever tell you where it had spent the intervening 32 years?
Really, they didn't. I thought my brother had received the card.
Orson.
Was the letter delivered by an extremely slow elf, or what?
Possible.
Rudolph was off that night. Okay, Vicki, you've heard the cross-examination. Is Dean the man who operates a scoreboard manually, or is he the man who sent a Christmas card 32 years ago?
I think it's the scoreboard.
You think it's a scoreboard, okay? Well, Dean, what's your true story?
To tell the truth, I operated the scoreboard.
Congratulations, Vicki. You win $500. Thank you for playing one-on-one. Well, Dean, you did a tremendous job. We want to introduce someone to you, someone who is responsible for hitting a lot of balls out of that ballpark. Please welcome Ernie Banks, Hall of Famer. Ernie, welcome to the show. Now, what a tribute.
I see this guy hit 500 home run.
What a tribute to a man who puts up the numbers, to have Ernie Banks here. We have some tape of you actually turning the numbers. Take a look and tell us what's going on.
I'm getting ready to put a number 3 for the Cubs in the slot.
Okay, fans are all waiting for the score. It pops up.
There it is.
And there it is. Ernie, did the players ever try and hit him up there? Did they ever try to put the ball up there high enough to get him?
Yes, we did. We looked at the scoreboard, and we always knew that Dean was up there, and when he put those numbers up there, we were always watching and looking forward to trying to hit one up there at the scoreboard. It looks real close from home plate, doesn't it?
I always thought I'd put the ones upside down.
Well, listen, thank you both for being here and playing one-on-one on To Tell the Truth. It was wonderful having you here. We'll be right back after this.
Hey, I'm Jeff Hepner, host of the new game show Switch. It's a brand new take on trivia. A right answer can take you from worst to first. The new #1, but a wrong answer does that in reverse. Yep, this is gonna be fun.
Switch premieres this January on Game Show Network.
Folks, thank you all for joining us this morning. We'll see you next time on To Tell the Truth. So long.
This is Bertha Richardson speaking for To Tell the Truth, a Mark Goodson television production.
Open sesame.
Hey, Joe, we're down to the last Butterfinger.
The last Butterfinger! Aha!
Hey! Simpson going deep.
Get a crispity, crunchity, peanut buttery burst in every bite of Butterfinger.
Nobody better lay a finger on my Butterfinger.
See you tomorrow.
We love you. We'll see you here on the Family Feud.
Show until next time, this is Peter Tomarkin on behalf of the Focati Rug saying thanks for pressing your luck. Bye-bye.
Anyway, we have just 10 seconds to say goodbye. We'll see you tomorrow. So long.
Bye-bye. Yeah.
We got 5 seconds.
Oh, no, we have 3, 2, 1. Bye.